That's a little creepy, but okay.
Okay. Hi, Jade. How are you today?
I'm okay. How are you?
You're okay. I'm good. Thank you for being flexible and meeting with me via Zoom, a little bit different than in person. So I miss seeing you in real person, but it's good to see your face today. So we're going to do things a little bit different today. I've kind of been hounding you on questions about your past, kind of history, and today I want to get into some good stuff today. So I have some different sets of questions to ask you. And I am going to write it down so we can kind of look at it as we go. And then if you want a copy of the goals and the stuff we're going through today, I'd love to send that to you. So that's why I will be writing stuff down today.
Okay.
Okay, so if you have any questions, please stop me, ask your questions. If you need to take a break, if there's something you don't understand, something I'm not explaining well enough, please stop me and I want to make sure it's really clear. Okay, do you have any questions?
Not right now.
Okay, so Jade, in your own words, I want to hear, why are you here today? Why did you seek services?
Well, I think a lot of it is just like my overall struggle with like managing my stress and anxiety when it comes to my school life and my personal life, having to juggle all of that and actually facing it.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of what I do is I end up, once I realize something is super stressful or is going to make me anxious, I avoid it. So I think it's about like managing, I guess the overall thing would be managing stress, like if I were to put it into one like term.
Yeah, but you love yourself because you're trying to protect yourself from it. So that's a bad, but also one little good tiny thing. So
Thank you.
let's talk about what do you think would be the pros of not changing any habits and kind of just go along how you are, not changing any stress or anxiety, juggling. What what do you think would be a pro of that?
Well, I wouldn't have to talk about it and I wouldn't have to face it,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to avoiding things like schoolwork. I wouldn't have to quite face it or think about it. Um, I guess that would be the pro,
Yeah. Yeah,
continuing to not
just
have to deal with it.
yeah. Just not changing. Change is hard. Yeah, change is hard. So what would be a con of not changing? What something
Um, I know it's all gonna slap me in the face eventually.
mm,
Kind of like kind of like you don't pay attention when you're like filling a glass up with water. Eventually, it's gonna overflow.
yeah.
Um, so eventually I will have to deal with it, and the longer I wait, the worse it's probably going to be. Um, so I guess I'd say probably that. That, and
Yeah.
I'm just right now I'm not getting things done, or I'm not coping well.
Yeah. But you're here today. You came back.
Thank
So
you.
thank you for that. See, once again, you're loving yourself. You showed up today. Okay, so now let's talk about this is a hard one. What's something negative about changing?
Um, Forcing myself to do it,
Um,
forcing myself to take the steps that are required, whether it be with work or with school or with like my personal boundaries, like having to reach out and make those contacts and forcing myself to sit down and do the work,
yeah,
which
yeah,
is
those,
stressful.
yeah. Little steps and big steps can be challenging. Yeah, that's for sure. Okay, so what do you think would be something good about changing?
I'd I'd accomplish my tasks and I think I'd feel pretty good about accomplishing them. Um, Whether it be like actually like finally sitting down with another therapist, like getting like regular like therapy sessions outside of school or getting my official diagnosis or completing assignments and getting a good grade and feeling good about it.
Yeah.
Or even if I didn't get a good grade, I feel like I turned something in, like I completed it and turned it in.
Yeah. Yeah. So there is kind of a lot going on, but you sound motivated to get there. So we kind of talked about the pros of not changing. You don't have to face it, don't have to talk about it. Kind of the cons of not changing. We don't want it just to slap you in the face. That's something that we're going to work together to avoid. Um, and then kind of something negative of changes. You got to take those steps, big steps, little steps, got to force yourself to make those phone calls, which is a lot, which can be scary, which can be uncomfortable. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we kind of talked about the pros of changing to feel good, turning something in, to feel good when you hang up that phone call and you're like, oh my gosh, that was so stressful, but it's done. So we want to work to get you feeling good. Okay. So does that kind of sound kind of like what we went through, kind of what
Yeah.
we went over? Okay. So now I'm going to ask you to choose a number between 1 and 10. So 1 being, it's really not that important for me to change, or 10 being, it's very important to change, I must change. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how important do you think it is for you to change?
I'd say like 9. I'd almost
9?
put it at a 10, but I'd say probably a
Okay.
9.
Like a 9 or 10. Okay. So why do you think like not a 7 or 8?
It's definitely impacting my life a whole lot right now,
Okay.
and it's a very big part of my life. All these things that I'm avoiding or that are causing me stress. So it's very important. It's a big part of my life, and it's something that um if I don't face it is going to it's not like it's just going to go away.
Okay. So it's important in your life and school.
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's shift to how confident are you that you can make some changes? So 1 being, I have no confidence myself, 0 being 0, 1 being I got like this much confidence in myself, or 10, like I'm gonna wake up and the world's gonna change. We all know that's not gonna happen over. Take some time. But for you, how confident are you in yourself that you can make changes?
Um, right now I'm probably sitting at like around a 6. Um,
6. Okay.
maybe even like a 5.5
Okay.
kind of a thing, just because like it feels that overwhelming.
Yeah,
Um,
but you didn't say a 2.
yeah. Um, I guess saying something that low would be hard to say considering how far I have come, I guess.
Okay.
Um, but I am pretty hard on myself on like how long it took me to get to this place. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, okay. But you're not a 2, so maybe like a 5.5 or a 6. And we've
Yeah.
kind of talked about this before, that this is something kind of you struggled with, but you're here, you're willing to do the work, you've done it before. Okay, very good. Okay. So last question on these 1 to 10 scales. So how ready are you to make some changes in your life? So 1 being, I'm not ready, 10, I'm ready.
I'm ready. Whether I want to be or not, I am. I want to feel better about this. So I'd probably say an 8.
An
8,
8,
8,
okay.
8.5.
8, okay, 8.5. Okay, you are ready. So you're at an 8.5. What is something so tiny that could move you just from an 8.5 to a 9?
Um, I'd say
That
like,
question.
yeah. Well, when it comes to like, let's say school, um, that might mean like reaching out to my professors
Okay.
and actually talking to them about it, which gives me a whole lot of anxiety. Um, I think part of it's like a fear of rejection, but I think that would help me because then I'd know a bit more of like where I'm at. I'd have more of like a starting point.
Yeah,
Uh, so probably, yeah, getting in
that's a big
contact with my
one.
teachers.
Yeah, that's a good big step. That would be a little bit more than a 0.5. You should be proud of yourself. That's a good one. That's a big one. Okay. So what do you think are, so that's a big one. You started out big. What do you think are two other things that would help you to move up? Say, I'm ready. What do you think?
Um, that's a hard one.
It's a hard one.
Um, I think I'd say just like being able to organize my like mind and my thoughts because I feel like cluttered. Like my desk before I sat down, all my books were on my desk and now they're sitting on my bed because I don't have anywhere else for them to go.
Okay.
So like having like a, I guess, more organized and like clear space to work, whether
Okay.
that be like at home or somewhere else, or, and it's like, because like having everything here like in front of me makes me feel like I can't focus on what I need to do.
Yeah. Okay. So declutter.
Yeah, I guess declutter.
Kind
Yeah.
of declutter, kind of get a little organized.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which takes time, which is hard
Yeah.
to do when you
Yeah.
already have a lot going on.
Yeah. Well, and
So,
that's the thing is like I don't really know where to put it. But
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's also a big one. So you're making some big steps today. So the first one would probably be to email your professor, kind of let them know what's going on. This is where I'm at. They say I'm here to help you. I'm here. Like I need help. And then second one, kind of declutter, get organized. That can be a big one. That could be a big one. What do you think would be the third thing, the last thing that would help you?
Um, I'd probably say prioritize, I guess, with everything going on. It's like decide what needs the most attention and what's most important to get done. Whether that be like reaching out to try and get like a diagnosis or um like working more on like a specific assignment or project, like trying to figure out where my energy would best be utilized, I
That's
guess.
good. Yeah, that's a really good one. So prioritize. Do you ever make lists?
I do, but I have a tendency to like make lists and then never look at them again.
Oh, then don't make a list. Okay, so prioritize. Find a way to prioritize. Okay, so that was your third one. Okay, so we are going to, if you would like to come back next week, I would love to see you, kind of work with you. I know you have so much going on. You've explained to me, we've kind of talked about good things of changing and not changing, kind of the negative of changing and not changing. But kind of what I'm listening to is that you love yourself, you know you're worth it, you know things need to get done at readiness to change, you're at an 8.5, which is really good. So it sounds like as difficult as it is, as much as you feel like you're struggling, you're sounding really good. You're looking really good. You're ready to make some changes. So out of these three things that we talked about, tiny task to kind of move you forward. So between now and when I see you next week, I don't want to give you more homework because that's a lot. So let's think of it as just like loving yourself and knowing that you're worth it, and steps to get you out of this kind of stress, kind of anxiety, kind of thing that you're in right now, out of emailing your professor, kind of organizing or decluttering or prioritizing. What's some tiny steps of those three? Which one do you want to work on? And tell me about next week.
I think the best one to start with would probably be emailing my
Email.
professors. I feel
Okay.
like that would probably help with the other two, or
Okay.
at least one of the two.
Yeah.
But
Okay. So you tell me that you're at 8.5 ready. So do you feel like within the next week when I see you, you can email your professors?
I think so.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. Well, you worked really hard today, Jade. This was kind of like a tough session. So I want you to be proud of yourself. You came back and I'll see you next week. So in the meantime, be easy on yourself. And then I look forward to hearing how it goes emailing your professors.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. I'll see you next week.